feel like we all go about our lives and whatever we experience consistently is what we consider to be normal. Until you're talking to one of your friends and they tell you,
"Don't take this the wrong way, Amber, but you make a lot of unusual life choices."
And my first reaction was, whatever, no I don't. And then she cited about 10 examples and I'm like, okay, Emily, maybe you have a point. I've gotten a lot of questions lately about some of the things I do. This, for example. So I thought I would take a minute and explain a bit. Video series. I get a lot of comments in person and messages online, and a lot of times they're along the lines of,
"Hey Amber, I like your videos, but can I ask, why do you make them?"
Good question. When I left the carrier world after 10 years in underwriting ops, I was worried about my insurance knowledge and network atrophying. I've actually always been something of an undercover insurance nerd. When I was at AmFam, I wasn't just underwriting, I was also making Prezi presentations about the history of insurance and taking every insurance class I could fit in. So I didn't want to lose that. And like most of my wild ideas, at first I brushed it off as completely ridiculous. What if I made videos about insurance and insurance events? That would be ridiculous. I would never do that. But if I did, it would force me to stay on top of trends and help me practice my video production skills. Not like I would ever actually do that though. But if I did, maybe it would help me meet more people in the industry. Like that John Bachman guy who's always talking about claims. He seems cool. So I picked up a camera, downloaded some video production software, and started playing around with it. And turns out, it's also really fun. I have a blast putting together these videos, and I learned so much from all the conversations and relationships they've helped start. But yeah, it's a little unusual that I make videos about insurance. Whenever I tell anyone that I have a YouTube channel, their first reaction is usually,
"Oh, cool, what kind of topics do you cover?"
And when I tell them insurance, they're like,
"Oh, okay, well, I mean, good for you anyway."
Strange choice number 2, commuting 800 miles to work. This is a more recent one, so has generated a lot of questions, especially from my local friends and family, who have reminded me that there are 20-some Fortune 500 companies here in Minnesota, along with hundreds of startups and technology companies, and surely some of them need marketing people. So why did I decide to commute 800 miles back and forth to Columbus every week? This one is pretty simple. Minneapolis has a lot of great companies, but it does not have Bold Penguin. And I'm not going to give away the secret sauce here, but I will tell you that everything you've heard about Bold Penguin is true. It's not hype. They really are doing some game-changing work in the commercial insurance space that I would not have thought is possible if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. And not to get too sappy, but you combine that with their incredible culture, and you have something really special. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to this time next year when I'm settled in Ohio full time, but for now, it works and it's worth it. Which is kind of the theme for all of my unusual life choices.
Like getting an undergraduate degree in an area I had no intention of going into, moving to Uganda instead of doing a summer internship, speaking French at home even though I am a half Swedish, half Finnish Minnesotan living in the Midwest.
All are somewhat unusual life choices that work for me and have been worth it. And I'd say that's really the way to go for both your personal life and your business. Don't worry about how many other people or organizations are doing what you're doing. Just do what works best for you and yours. I found that more often than not, it's the unusual or scary choice that has the highest payoff. And also, outside of the weird things I've mentioned, I am pretty much the most basic millennial you've ever met. I love avocado toast and craft beer, and I have a little hipster house in the suburbs with 2 kids, a dog, and a Subaru. So I also think you don't need to go against the mainstream if the mainstream works for you. I mean, there's a reason avocado toast is mainstream now. It's amazing. And if you disagree, you're just wrong, I'm sorry. So that's the cliff notes on my weird life choices. And if you've made it all the way to this point in the video, I I would argue that you are in the weird life choice club with me. Seriously though, the number one reason I make these videos is because of the people, the conversations, the relationships they start. I cannot tell you how much each view, like, comment, and share means to me. Every other Wednesday when I'm publishing these videos, I am nervous every time. Like, it takes me a minute each time to get up the courage to hit the button. Putting yourself out there on social media, you never know how things are going to be received, so it's a really vulnerable feeling, but it's worth it. So thank you for being part of my journey and listening to this never-ending ramble. And if you are not already, don't forget to subscribe to the Insurance Nerdery. It is cool to be a nerd and make weird life choices. I'll see you next time.